Well, Donald Trump has the left exactly where he wants them. I think right now, in light of some new information regarding Alex Petty, the left, and specifically Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar and Jacob Fry, are eating out of his hand. I've got a lot to show you, but let's start first with this breaking video footage of Alex Petty just about a week or so before the second incident with ICE. Now, this was posted on X. I don't know who originally posted, but this is on Andy Ngo's page. And apparently, this video was taken on January 13th, and it shows Alex Petty violently attacking a car and spitting on the officers there. Now, I'm not going to play the audio because there's a big talk behind it, but I want to show you what is going on here. And you can very clearly see, boom, he kicks the light off the federal vehicle. The light goes off. This is like freaking crazy. The officers come out. He's actually yelling F you at the police officer. And then the protesters there who are in the back are like, stop, stop. I'm like, did you guys not just see what he freaking did to the police vehicle and how threatening he was? And then the crowd actually, as you'll see here in a moment, starts flipping him off. There he is spitting on the police officer. So this guy has a radical history with ICE. I mean, and here's just kind of a replay of the thing, but here's the crowd. You could see the woman flipping him off. They're all pissed off at ICE. Now, here's another angle that I want to show you, and this is a second video that was taken. I am going to play the audio on this one, but take a listen.
Look at you! Pepper spray, bitch! Fucking assault!
And he's just cussing it up.
Fuck you guys! Fucking crap!
There's the spit.
Fucking crap!
There's kick. Wow. So for this ICU nurse, or whatever kind of nurse he was, he doesn't seem to be real of the friendly type in any way, shape, or form, but it seems like he had at least a violent reaction in the past. Now, I've got a lot more to show you in this broadcast, and specifically, is this video legit? Because there's people saying, oh, it's not legit. Well, I have a surprise for you, but here's a quick break from my sponsor. On January 5th, the U.S. Department of Energy announced $2.7 billion in contracts to restore America's uranium enrichment capabilities. Now, this isn't just routine spending, it's a signal, and the message is very clear. America needs domestic uranium, and we need it right now. But here's the reality. The U.S. consumes over 50 million pounds of uranium annually, but produces less than 1 million pounds domestically. That's a 98% foreign dependency, and it's a serious vulnerability for our power generations, for our defense systems, and even our national security. With Russia dominating enrichment and global supply tightening, the White House has made its position unmistakable. Build the U.S. uranium supply chain and build it at home. This is where Atomic Minerals come in. Trading on the TSX venture under ATOM and OTC under ATMMF, this is a team with real credentials, including leadership behind the discovery and a $654 million sale of the Rough Rider uranium deposit to Rio Tinto. If you want to learn more about this critical mineral story, check out the link in the description box below or go to atomicminerals.ca/presentations. So is this video actually legit? The whole answer, absolutely yes, it is. It has been verified not only by the BBC, but by his family. Take a look at this. This is on Mediaite, and I normally don't like these radical left sites, but I want to show you that they were actually forced to admit it. So it's kind of interesting. But BBC confirms authenticity of viral video appearing to show Alex Petty kicking agents' cars just 11 days before the shooting happened. And again, I don't like that the shooting happened I wish it didn't happen, but nonetheless, this guy has a violent history with ICE. Footage published on Wednesday appeared to show Alex Petty kicking an immigration agent's car before getting thrown on the ground during a confrontation less than 2 weeks before he was shot and killed in Minneapolis. Now, the BBC actually confirmed the authenticity of the video in their 10 p.m. GMT news broadcast. The reporter Ross Atkins said the man in the video has the same coat, facial hair, and gait, that is the walk, the movement, as Alex Petty, and the facial recognition tool suggests a 97% match. We see him shouting abuses at the agents. Separately, a spokesperson for the BBC confirmed to Mediaite that they reviewed the footage and verified its team did use facial recognition technology on the video. It goes on to state that CNN, the Minneapolis Star Tribune, and other outlets have also now confirmed with the Petty family that the man in the video is Alex Petty. So his family actually came out and said that, yep, that unfortunately is our son. Now, obviously, the left is out there, trying to still kind of beat around the bush with this whole thing and still doing vigils for Alex Petty. Speaking of little vigils being attended, here is Ilhan Omar holding a candle at a vigil for Petty after it was confirmed, by the way, that he launched a violent assault on law enforcement officers just a week before. Here she is in her little thing here holding a candle. Again, this is after it was shown that he was fairly violent. So there you go. They continue to do rather weird things. But speaking of what is actually fake news regarding Alex Petty that is being circulated on the left, well, you may have seen this photo. This is a picture that appears to be MSNBC giving Alex Petty a tan and a stronger jawline. This is the original photo here, closer to me, and then the one on the far right, your far right, he looks way different. That is the mainstream media for you. And if you recall, I did a whole report where CNN actually took a white man and made him black, which was rather interesting, or a black man made him, no, I think they took a black man and made him, I don't know, it was one of the two, but it was rather interesting. And speaking of more fake news from the radical left, you might have seen this photo going around. And if you notice something about this photo, I'll blow it up here, I want you to look at the guy on the ground next to Alex Petty. And you can see he has no head. And this is one that the left, even some of my, some Facebook people that were on my friends list, no longer on my friends list, for sharing this video. Look how bad it is. You just, put the gun right there. This is not what happened. It is an absolutely fake video created by AI without a head. It tells you everything you need to know. But it's sad that some of the liberals can't even figure out that that is actual fake news. So here's the deal. Now that there's a lot of people supporting this guy. And look, again, I'm going to reiterate, I don't think he should have been shot. It's an unfortunate situation. He put himself in a very bad situation. You carry a gun. You're fully allowed to carry a gun to a protest. That's a Second Amendment right. But if you start resisting arrest and obstructing officials, federal officials, you've got some issues, right? You're putting yourself in a bad situation, just like he did prior when he already has a history with ICE of being violent. But anyway, regardless of all of that, there's also attacks going on right now that I think you need to be aware of, targeting MAGA supporters and ICE agents in general. In fact, there is a nurse that just got busted telling her people to put poison in ICE agents' cups and all of that. And in case you haven't seen this, here she is. Obviously, she is crazy to say something like this, but this was shared by Libs of TikTok. And she had a series of videos that she posted, right, telling people to inject ICE officials with paralytic and the whole 9 yards. Take a listen. Obviously, this woman is crazy.
It's in the weird spot. Sabotage tactic, or at least scare tactic. All the medical providers, grab some syringes with needles on the end. Have them full of saline or succinylcholine, whatever. That will probably be a deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
Be safe.
There's another video.
For today's resistance tip, I vote, anybody got any poison ivy, poison oak in their yard? Get some of that up with gloves, obviously. Get it in some water. like a gallon of water, and get the poison ivy oak water, and I'm going to put it into a water gun.
There you go. And she goes on, by the way, and she says you could spray the poison on them. She also encourages women to go on dates with agents and drug their food, needless to say. So, hey, if you're a Trump supporter, an ICE supporter, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. I mean, this is absolutely insane. Imagine being targeted just for doing your job. This is crazy. But the good news is, and this came out just January 28th, so just yesterday, the deranged nurse has been fired after urging poisoning and paralyzing of ICE agents. So that is the good news, that she has thereby now been fired. But speaking of nurses' unions, I thought this was rather interesting too. And this is on the Gateway. Pundit Radical Nurses Union on shooting death of anti-ICE activists. Petty's death will not be in vain. They messed with the wrong profession. We nurses will fight to abolish ICE. Seriously? Like, you don't want them there at all? This is a nurses' union. They should have nothing to do with that and voicing an opinion in that, yet this is exactly what they have done, right? They put out a whole thing on it, and they called it a week of action by Alex Petty, RN, and others killed by ICE. And they get in there long, whatever. I just don't really care to read it. Petty's death will not be in vain. ICE messed with the wrong profession. We nurses will fight to abolish ICE and bring about a vision for a healthy society based on nurses' values of caring, compassion, and community. Oh boy. So now, as a result, they literally want to abolish ICE. This is a nurse organization that isn't supposed to be involved in politics. They're supposed to help people no matter the side of the fence that they're on. And I can't help but shake this feeling. And this, by the way, this is a group that claims over 225,000 members, right? So if I go and I need some nurse help and maybe I got a pro-ICE something or another on my shirt and I need a doctor's help, are they going to help me, or am I going to be a little bit jaded and mistreated in the hospital? Kind of makes you wonder, should MAGA people be worried about going to the hospital and facing some of these nurses? You're not supposed to have these bias, yet they do, right? But on another note, I got to show you guys this is too. Oh, and by the way, my baby's back here. That's his bedside, but he says hi. He loves it. He loves it behind me. But anyway, I got to show you this too. Wow, we're on a topic. Molly Ringwald warns that people who support ICE will be seen as collaborators. Seriously? Here's what she said specifically. And this was a 4-minute video she shared to her 1.4 million followers. But anyway, she said a lot of people collaborated. And then there were people that did not collaborate and were part of the resistance. Eventually, they got their country back. Those people who collaborated were found to be criminal. And that is what is going to happen. Right? So basically, she is comparing the modern day ICE operations to Nazi Germany. Here's Molly, in case you don't know who she is. And by collaborator, right? If we go back to Nazi Germany and view what happened to collaborators, here's what happened. Following World War II, thousands of Nazi collaborators and war criminals were executed. Thousands of them, primarily through hanging or firing squad as part of a post-war justice and purging measures across Europe. Trials such as Nuremberg execution and swift, often violent retribution by resistance group resulted in widespread killing of those who aided the Nazi regime. Yeah. So in other words, if you support ICE, they literally want to, she is saying that, we should be hanged and killed because we're collaborators that need to be taken care of. This is why I tell you we need to take Democrats seriously, because I actually wouldn't, unfortunately, I wouldn't put it past them. I saw them arrest conservatives galore, thousands of them, right, under Biden's administration, arrest our leaders like Trump and Rudy Giuliani and Steve Bannon and Michael Flynn and many others. And now that we're in charge, nothing is happening. And that means that there are no consequences for any of their actions. So when they come in, they're going to say we're Nazis, and they could very potentially do something like that. And I don't even think that the left would bat an eye, because remember, as Dan Bongino used to say, they don't care. They don't care about what our opinion is, right? They just think that we're bad people. We're bad people with ideas. And that's how they're viewing it. So to get rid of the bad people who have ideas. It's not about if our ideas are good or not, because they won't even negotiate. They are so brainwashed by the mainstream media that they actually believe that people are being dragged in the streets against their will and being taken to concentration camps. I've played a lot of clips of these lefties actually promoting that nonsense and saying that that is happening, when it, honest to God, is not even happening. And so they would think that they're vigilantes saving the planet by taking out some Nazis. I really hope to God that that's not the case, but it is a very terrifying thought, right? Anyhow, I wanted to bring all of that to you. I think it's important to stay in the loop with everything. But as a quick reminder, get to restrictedrepublic.com. Justice Knight and myself do a lot of exclusive stuff. I'm going to be making an exclusive report on there today. There's still things thou shalt not talk about on these social media platforms. So use the coupon code Lisa and the number 5 to get it for $5 per month. I really would love to see you there. Anyhow, I love you all. And thank you guys again for being here on this broadcast. But anyhow, I love you all. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.